Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. As we continue with our new theme of the week, which is transmission, today we reflect on how transmission quietly transforms us over time, often without dramatic experiences, yet with lasting inner change. In heartfulness, transmission doesn't announce itself, it reveals its presence through increased balance, simplicity, and depth in our daily life. Transmission has been defined as the utilization of divine energy for the transformation of a human being. Here, we are not speaking of physical transformation, as our bodies are limited by our genetic makeup. When we speak of transformation, we refer to our personality, our intellect, our ego, and other spheres. Eventually, this transformation leads us into spiritual realms of existence. It is the nourishment that allows such unlimited growth on the subtle and spiritual plane. To conceive of transmission as energy is not completely correct, as energy belongs to the manifested world, the physical dimension, whereas transmission is not measurable as energy by the standard model of physics. A good analogy is an instant where the mystic poet Kabir refers to the sound of unstruck music, meaning the music that emanates from a string or a drum that has not been struck. What is the kind of sound to which Kabir refers? He speaks not of the manifest world but of the unmanifest, the origin from which we have all emerged. It is to this dimension that transmission belongs, and its purpose is to uncover that same original, authentic state within each one of us that is at the center of our being. Transmission works beyond the level of conscious awareness. While the mind seeks experiences and the markers of progress, transmission refines the heart silently, preparing it for the higher states without any strain. As described in our teachings, transmission acts directly on consciousness, bypassing the intellectual effort. Often, its effects are noticed only in hindsight, through increased patience, reduced reactivity, and a natural inclination towards harmony. Dear sisters and brothers, as we move forward, we gently encourage you to share the invitation of the BHED sessions and the master classes with your near and dear ones as it can greatly help them. You will find the additional reading material on this theme as well as videos of Revered Daji, and you can access it on the Heartfulness tab under the Sunday tab dated 25th Jan. We will now continue our inspirational reading, which continues from the Heartfulness Way, Book 2. We started the reading from page number 93. As the text is not going to be displayed on the screen, so you can try to read along if you have your copy or simply listen. And that heart to heart connection is immediate as soon as you think of the Master. The ability to transmit is a yogic attainment in which the Master catalyzes the divinity within us to awaken and removes anything detrimental to our spiritual progress. They can do this whether we are with them or far away. They can transmit anywhere, instantaneously, unbounded by time and space. You may be in Tokyo and request a meditation session from a trainer who's in India or France. Yet, the instant the meditation starts, you will feel transmission immediately. Babuji would sometimes set up meditation sessions with his associates by telling them to sit whenever they could. The instant they sat for meditation, they would feel transmission flowing. How does this happen? It is because of the potency of the intention of the master. Some people think that transmission automatically happens in the company of a saintly person, but that is the radiation of fine vibrations emanating from them, resulting in temporary calmness and peace. It is not transmission. Vibrations radiate from everyone, saintly or evil. If you are with an evil person, your thoughts will flow in the same direction as theirs for some time. The effect of radiation is temporary and disappears the moment you move away. The singing of sacred music in choirs is another situation where people claim that transmission flows, but it is the result of the vibrations produced by the sound of the singing. Again, it is not transmission. Daji, you mentioned that transmission removes what is detrimental to our spiritual progress. But our detrimental patterns are not always conscious. We don't even know what we are holding on to them. What happens if the master is removing them and we are not able to let go? The master is always at the mercy of the seeker. Nothing is done by force. Even when they want to remove something, you have to be willing to let it go. So they create a field of circumstances for you to realize what needs to go. Once you realize this is not good in my life, then the work starts to flow. Otherwise, it is a waiting game. This game continues until you accept the need to let go of what your heart knows is not evolutionary. They will not insist. But once they no longer need to waste time waiting, they goes about removing the heaviness in your heart. They cannot act against your will. There can be no interference in your freedom of choice. This is one reason why interest in progress and cooperation are so important. With cooperation, the work happens smoothly. Once the relationship is established as one of acceptance, everything flows. The master can create a state in you far ahead of your existing state, which otherwise would require lifetimes to achieve. You may verify this practically. With yogic transmission, the master can change the entire nature of a person. Daji, could you share something about the origins of transmission? The first master in the heartfulness tradition was Lalaji, who lived from 1873 to 1931. The extent of his work for humanity has yet to come to light. As happens with great innovators and visionaries, it will be future generations who will truly appreciate his contribution to human evolution. He remodeled the system of yoga for modern times based on rediscovering the yogic practice of transmission, which involves transmitting the subtlest pranahuti from the center itself in order to transform human consciousness. This yogic practice of transmission existed in ancient times, 72 generations before King Dashrath of Ayodhya, the father of Lord Rama of the Ramayana. Unfortunately, the practice was then largely lost, surfacing only during those rare moments where great souls walk the earth. Then, in the late 19th century, when the world was in dire need of change, something more sustainable and consistent was required, and the power of nature manifested in the form of Lalaji to bring about that. Dear sisters and brothers, we will take the pause from the reading and let us now move our attention inward to offer the universal prayer. All brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। May this universal prayer awakens love, unity, peace in the hearts of all across the world. Dear sisters and brothers, as you prepare for the rest tonight, do take a few moments to offer the bedtime prayer and the reflections of the day. Place yourself gently in the Master's care and allow the bedtime prayer to preserve the inner condition and carry it into restful awareness. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you for joining this evening session. And as we continue this week, may transmission quietly mature our hearts. May simplicity guide our actions. And may inner balance become our natural state. And we look forward to your presence for the morning session tomorrow, which is going to be at 6 a.m. Until then, wishing you all a very good night and a good rest. Thank you.